Over the last few years, major restaurant chains all over the country keep filing for bankruptcy. I'm talking Red Lobster, TGI Fridays, Applebee's. What's crazy is that a lot of these restaurants used to be childhood favorites for millions of people.
But sooner or later, there might not be a single one of them left.
I think that's really sad.
So in this video, I'll be investigating 5 bankrupt restaurant chains to learn what happened and figure out if any of them can actually be saved. Starting with
Buca de Beppo. I can't lie, I really like saying the name of this place.
Buca de Beppo was established in 1993 as a family-style Italian restaurant. In the early 2000s, they had over 100 locations. But as of August 5th, 2024, they officially filed for bankruptcy.
According to the news, it was due to things like rising food costs, lack of customers, and overall, the pandemic. But after doing a little digging myself, I don't think that's all there is to it, and I'll explain more once I get some food. I also want to add, I've only been to this restaurant maybe one time in my entire life, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect out of the food quality, but fingers crossed it's good. Maybe not though, since, you know, they're filing for bankruptcy. Hey, how's it going? Just for one. Awesome, thank you.
All right, y'all, so I just got seated, and right off the bat, I am surprised that the restaurant isn't completely empty. Now, as for the menu, it does seem like Buca de Beppo has all of your big batch, classic Italian-American food options. This menu is so big, I feel like there's like 100 different options on here, which is insane. I think their signature item has to be these world-famous meatballs, since, you know, they're world-famous. However, I don't want to eat just meatballs. The good news is, it seems like I can still get them along with some spaghetti, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Sweet, thanks man, appreciate it.
All right, so the food should be on the way, and in order for me to decide whether any of these bankrupt restaurant chains can actually be saved, I'll be judging every spot based on how good the food is, the value, and whether or not these restaurants have their own unique selling point.
Awesome, thank you.
So the food has arrived, and I'm speechless. Even though I knew Buca de Beppo was known for their large portion sizes, this amount of food is diabolical. So right here we have their spaghetti and meatballs, which cost almost $40. It literally looks like I'm about to do one of those crazy eating challenges, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know I'm not good at those.
I definitely have to point this out, even though the portion size is large, since it cost $40, you would expect there'd be more than just 2 meatballs on the plate. Value-wise, doesn't seem so great.
Let's go ahead and get things started by trying just the pasta and the sauce itself.
Cheers. Okay, so I'm not gonna be like uber dramatic and say that it's not like edible, because it is, but at the same time, I also won't say that it's necessarily good. Consistency-wise, it's a little watery. As for flavor, the sauce itself is a little sweet, but at the same time, like very sharp, which I'm not exactly a fan of.
Hopefully these meatballs are a little better.
Even though it's a little lame that there are only 2 meatballs, at least it's a big ball. I have a feeling this is gonna be dry. Cheers. I was right. That was one dry meatball. Along with the texture not really being desirable, the flavor didn't do it much justice either. Pretty bland, need some salt, pepper, honestly anything.
To make matters worse, after doing some digging, it turns out that Buca de Beppo's fall-off and eventual bankruptcy actually started way before 2024. Apparently, back in the early 2000s, Buca de Beppo's executives were accused of embezzlement and accounting fraud, totaling over $12 million.
But for legal reasons, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Please, do not sue me. I don't want to go bankrupt too.
Oh, and one more thing to add is that the founder of Buca de Beppo literally admitting that the restaurant was started in bad taste to essentially mock Italian-American restaurants doesn't help. So my meal is complete, and I've officially locked in my final verdict. Based on all of the factors that I'm judging these restaurants on, it's safe to say that unfortunately, unless Buca de Beppo basically reinvents itself, I just don't think it can be saved.
Even though I didn't like the food, I think the price was the real crime here.
So I'm at the airport, not because I'm flying anywhere, but because every single one of the nearby standalone versions of this restaurant chain have closed down, and the only ones left are located behind TSA. Mission accomplished. We've officially arrived at TGI Fridays. So what's cool about this restaurant chain is that according to multiple sources, TGI Fridays basically invented the casual dining restaurant scene back in 1965 when it first opened in New York as a singles bar. The sad thing is, despite being such an iconic restaurant chain, they officially filed for bankruptcy on November 2nd, 2024.
Hi. Yes, please, just for one. Thank you.
So I just sat down and holy moly, this place is packed. Since it is inside an airport, I'm like 99% sure this is gonna be the busiest place I visit in this entire video.
Now, based on what I was able to find online, it seems like one of the main reasons for TGI Fridays going downhill is actually because of their menu.
Back when they first opened, TGI Fridays focused on classic American bar food like burgers, fries, that sort of stuff. But over time, they kind of lost their identity by somehow adding over 100 items to their menu. Literally at one point, they even served a sushi and pasta. Clearly they were trying to follow trends and keep up with all of the new restaurant chains popping up. However, that just didn't really work out.
From the looks of things though, it does seem like their current menu isn't as intense, but there are still a few items on here that don't really look like they belong. Why on earth are there pot stickers on here? Also, they spelled Szechuan wrong.
I placed my order, and although it is a shame that one of the most iconic restaurant chains in America had to file for bankruptcy, at least the one in the airport is doing just fine.
Potato skins.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. Huh.
So my appetizer has just arrived. It looks interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Here we have TGI Fridays loaded potato skins. And as the name suggests, we got potato skins topped with cheese, and I think that's bacon. It also comes with ranch. I'm not quite sure why there are green onions in the ranch, but
Okay, let's give these a shot.
cheers.
I don't like that. Like, not one bit.
I don't know if the oil they use to fry everything is old. It leaves this bitter aftertaste in my mouth that I'm really not a fan of.
I took another bite just to be sure, and yeah, that bitter taste is like definitely there. Hopefully the entree will be a bit better.
Awesome, thank you so much, appreciate it. Ladies and gents, this is a thick burger. Holy cow, this is half the size of my face. Right here is TGI Fridays Whiskey Glazed Burger, which is another one of their signature items.
It costs $18.39, which brings the total for this burger and those potato skins to a little under $34, which feels very expensive. But I guess that makes sense since everything in an airport is expensive. To be completely transparent, this definitely isn't the most aesthetically pleasing looking burger I've ever seen, but my waitress did say this is her go-to item here, so, you know, maybe looks are deceiving.
I hate that you can tell these patties have a little bit of freezer burn. Flavor-wise, it's not too bad. The patty itself is like seasoned well. The whiskey glaze plus the bacon they have on the burger does add that nice sweet and salty type of vibe to it, which is enjoyable. However, that freezer burn flavor just overpowers the entire thing. So I'm done eating and I'm back in my car. Unfortunately, I do not have that many nice things to say. The service was great. The food, however, was pretty bad. It was not good. It was also expensive. Nothing was unique at all about the restaurant. And to make matters even worse, those aren't even the main reasons why I don't think TGI Fridays can be saved.
Because it turns out that the real culprit who sent them spiraling into bankruptcy was this fun little thing called private equity. In simple terms, this is pretty much an investment group that buys another company like TGI Fridays, then drains them of their money. This results in TGI Fridays not being able to invest in improving their menu, renovating the buildings, or even paying their employees better.
I feel like this may be a reoccurring theme for a few of the restaurants that I'm gonna visit, which is a shame to say the least. But luckily, I have heard some good things about the next spot, so let's get going.
Now, as I get back on the road, I want to tell you all about the sponsor of today's video, Upside.
Upside is a free app that gets you cash back on the daily essentials that drain most people's bank accounts. Gas, groceries, and in my case, dining out. I literally just used it to pay at TGI Fridays and got some money back, which was very nice, especially considering that place was a bit pricey. And yes, I am talking about real cash back, not those credits or points you never end up using. This is real money you can transfer right back to your bank.
Users earn 1 million in cash back every single week, and unlike other programs, you can stack Upside with your existing credit card and loyalty rewards.
The app itself is also just super easy to use. You just open it up, claim an offer, pay like you normally would, and boom, cash back. It's literally that simple. The sheer amount of restaurants I've been to that are available on the app is insane, and it's so nice knowing that every time I eat there, your boy's gonna get some money back. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app by using my link or by scanning the QR code on screen, and you'll even get an extra $10 on your first grocery or restaurant purchase. Again, that's an extra $10 cash back on your first grocery or restaurant purchase using promo code Dylan. Now, I should be arriving at the next Bankrupt restaurant here in a second, so cue the transition graphic thingy and whatever song has been playing. Alrighty, y'all, so I'm now in front of a restaurant that once was the largest casual Tex-Mex chain in the entire country. On the border.
Established in 1982 right here in Dallas, Texas, this restaurant chain has been a staple Tex-Mex spot all throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Unfortunately, they did file for bankruptcy on March 5th, 2025, closing down many locations.
Now the good news is, instead of being purchased by the usual bad private equity company, On the Border was purchased by another restaurant group who's actually helping them plan a comeback. The question is that even possible? Oh, can I just get a table for one?
Sure. You done this before?
Not in a long time. Yeah, it's been a minute.
All right, so I just got seated, and this place has not changed even a little bit. Inside was your typical Tex-Mex setup. They've got a lot of bright colors, a huge bar, and just this fun vibe that gives off the feeling they want you to party.
Now, one thing that's absolutely amazing about Tex-Mex restaurants, chips and salsa. Before I take a look at this menu, gotta snack a little bit.
Honestly, this salsa is better than I remember it being. It's like nice and smoky, not bad.
With these chips out of the way, let's check out the menu.
To no surprise, just like the other chains, On the Border also has quite a large selection of options, ranging from burritos, fajitas, and these interesting Tex-Mex combos.
Maybe I'm just hungry, but a lot of things on this menu do look pretty good. I think I'm gonna need some help.
Sure.
A lot of stuff looks good.
Okay.
What's like the signature item?
My waiter was super nice and went through the entire menu, eventually recommending their combination fajitas. He also said something I just couldn't ignore.
I'd be hard pressed to find a better fajita for the price.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of that.
All right.
As per usual, I just couldn't resist a good deal, so I immediately placed my order, and a few minutes later,
That smells fantastic. Awesome, thank you so much. I was not expecting the food to look this good. Ladies and gents, here we have On the Border's combination fajitas. For my two meats, obviously had to get some beef. Then we also got the pork carnitas. The meal also comes with your usual fajita toppings. I did omit the beans because I wanted the cilantro rice. And of course, you can't forget about the tortillas. Since y'all have now seen the food for yourself, I don't think it's a stretch to say everything in front of me looks pretty good. I also have high hopes for it because the food itself wasn't actually the main reason On the Border originally filed for bankruptcy.
it was simply because times changed. Full-service dining just wasn't the move anymore, and people began preferring faster options like Chipotle. It doesn't help that they also had major labor shortages and couldn't keep restaurants staffed properly, which made the entire operation fall apart.
The good news is, because those issues were so straightforward, that's exactly the reason why the Papa's Restaurant Group thinks they can turn this whole thing around.
But we'll see if this food tastes as good as it looks.
First up, let's try the steak. Cheers. Hold on.
I would really like everyone to place their utmost trust in me right now, especially when I say this. This is a lot better than I thought it'd be. The beef itself is shockingly tender. It's still juicy. It's not overcooked. I'm a big fan of the Mexican rice. I am very pleasantly surprised. Now let's try with pork.
I haven't even put all of the other toppings on there. Look at this pork. It's like glistening. Cheers. That was a big bite. What is going on? I'm like flabbergasted right now. Why is this good?
Texture-wise, the pork is super tender. It literally pulls apart with a fork. It's nice and juicy, salted really, really well.
But I think the star of the show, no doubt about it, has to be these tortillas.
Which I learned, surprisingly, are made from scratch. Before I even ordered, after hearing that I haven't been to On the Border in quite a few years, the manager came out and actually explained to me.
The Papacitos on this now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Now everything's made fresh from scratch. The old company, it was in bags. Well, Papacitos now is taking over. Everything's fresh.
Gotcha.
Everything, no bag stuff, anything like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Maybe it's just the state of other restaurants nowadays, but hearing that a chain restaurant makes their own stuff in-house was very shocking, but at the same time, very nice to hear.
I finished my meal, paid the bill, and I'm back outside. Now, right away, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. On the Border is by far the best restaurant I've been to in this video by a long shot. It also was the one with the least amount of people actually eating there. My brain is legitimately short-circuiting right now. With that being said, based on all of my usual judging criteria and the fact that On the Border still is the second largest casual Tex-Mex chain in America, I think with all of the help they've received from the Papa Bros restaurant group so far, it's actually possible for them to be saved.
So I haven't been to this next restaurant chain since I was like 12, but here we are at Applebee's.
With over 1,500 locations across the country, Applebee's has been a staple in the casual dining scene since 1980. And honestly, it's kind of an American icon.
What's really unique about this place is, unlike everywhere else in this video, Applebee's corporate has never filed for bankruptcy.
Instead, it's been the individual franchise owners going out of business the last few years.
So the question is, if corporate is doing just fine, why on earth are the people at the bottom who are actually running the place struggling so much? There's only one way to find out.
I made my way into the restaurant, and surprisingly enough, it didn't seem like Applebee's has changed much over the last few decades at all. They still got TVs plastered everywhere, they had a huge bar.
The only difference is, when I was a kid, I remember half of the restaurant being a non-smoking section and the other half being a smoking section, which doesn't even make any sense. Thankfully, it is all non-smoking now. As per usual, like all the other spots, they also have quite the large menu.
With everything from burgers to riblets and even pasta.
Maybe I'm dumb, but I feel like one thing that would instantly help all of these restaurants stop losing money is to slim down their menu.
Since there were so many options, I had a bit of trouble deciding what to get, so I asked my waitress for her recommendations. Little did I know, that would make things more overwhelming.
You put 3 any kind of way you want. Those come 3, the wontons come 3, chicken quesadillas come 4, come 5, mozzarellas come 5, riblets come 2. Here's automatically 4 chicken quesadillas, 4 mozzarella sticks, 5 bonus wings, finished it with chips and salsa.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
4 o'clock.
That was crazy. I feel like I was just at an auction.
Unfortunately, the food did take a while to come out, which I found very strange considering the place really wasn't that busy. But after about 15 minutes or so,
Ooh, I wasn't sure what to expect, but this actually looks pretty good. Here we have Applebee's riblet basket, which is only costing me 12 bucks. I got here at a good time and got their early bird menu. Love me a good deal. It comes with 3 riblets and some fries. I'm pretty sure these riblets are one of Applebee's signature items, but the thing is, the only other chain I've had barbecue ribs from was Dickey's, I believe, and that was no bueno. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect out of these. First, let's try one of these fries. Huh, that was actually quite a tasty fry. It was nice and crunchy, inside was fluffy, exactly what you want out of a french fry. French fry approved. Now let's try these riblets. Cheers. Wait, who is back there in the kitchen? I think I gotta go shake his hand. The meat itself is shockingly very tender. It's got that smokiness to it, which I did not think would be there. As for the flavor, I got the sweet Asian chili glaze, I believe. So it's nice and sweet, but it also has that spicy kick to it, which I think adds a lot to these. Applebee's isn't even a barbecue spot, and this obliterates Dickey's. I walked in here with absolutely 0 expectations, so the fact that the food legitimately tastes good is a huge shock.
this does bring up my initial question again though, and that is, if the food itself isn't bad, why are so many franchise owners going out of business? Oh wait, I already know the answer. Like most restaurants, franchisees are constantly dealing with things like rising labor costs, leftover pandemic debt, and surprisingly slim profit margins. When those pressures become too much, some franchisees don't get rescued. Instead, they can lose the store. So I'm done eating, and based on everything I'm judging all of these restaurant chains on, I had a fantastic time at Applebee's. The food was good, it wasn't expensive, and not to mention, there's not a lot of places with deals that cheap. As for whether or not I think the chain itself can be saved, it seems like corporate will be just fine, but who knows what'll happen to the actual franchisees. I apologize if that bummed anyone out. I'm not so happy about it either, but it is time to head to the next restaurant chain who arguably has the most famous bankruptcy story of them all. All right, everyone, I've officially made it to the most famous bankrupt restaurant chain of them all. Welcome to Red Lobster. At its peak with over 700 locations, when this restaurant chain filed for bankruptcy in May of 2024, everyone was shocked. So the story behind this place is definitely the craziest of them all, so I'll explain more on the way inside. Founded in 1968, Red Lobster grew to one of the most recognizable restaurant chains in America. For decades, they were the spot for affordable seafood. But when they filed for bankruptcy, all of the headlines everywhere blamed one thing.
Endless shrimp.
Endless shrimp.
Endless shrimp.
$11 million the restaurant chain recently lost on its all-you-can-eat shrimp deal.
But the truth is, that's not what actually killed them.
Back in 2014, a private equity firm called Golden Gate Capital bought Red Lobster for $2.1 billion, which seems cool, until you find out that immediately after gaining ownership, they went ahead and sold all of Red Lobster's real estate for over $1.5 billion.
This allowed that private equity company to basically make all of their money back instantly.
while at the same time leaving Red Lobster to pay rent on buildings they used to own, totaling like $200 million a year.
And if you think that's bad, believe it or not, it gets worse. But hang on a second, let me order real quick. My food should be on the way shortly, so let's get back to the drama.
A few years after the initial purchase, a seafood supplier named Thai Union became the new majority owner of Red Lobster, which at first glance might seem like a good thing.
Since they now had direct access to the supplier, you'd think it would help the restaurant out a lot, but instead,
This company decided to push the infamous endless shrimp deal in order to move their own product at Red Lobster's expense. Think Red Lobster has to keep buying shrimp from them, but then loses money giving out an unlimited amount.
Oh, and before I continue yapping for too long, I completely forgot to mention they did bring out their signature Cheddar Bay biscuits. This might be surprising, but I don't think I've actually ever tried these, but they honestly look pretty good. They're a little flat for a biscuit, but I also don't know if this is how it's supposed to be. Regardless, cheers. Oh, they're kind of cooking with this one. This could be because I just like free stuff, especially free bread. It's nice and flaky, buttery, airy. I honestly think I'd come back just for these. But anyways, although Red Lobster's overall story has been pretty sad, there is light at the end of the tunnel because as of September 2024,
they've come under new ownership and officially crawled out of bankruptcy.
Surprisingly, this new group brought back an old CEO, they're renovating old buildings, and they're even opening up in new locations for the first time in years. Pretty crazy.
But as much as I am happy for them, let's see how good the seafood actually is.
Here it comes. Thank you. Holy. Ladies and gents, what I have in front of me is a Red Lobster seafood boil. In the seafood boil, you have all of your classic items. We got some shrimp, some corn, and some Cajun sausage. For the sauce, I got the Red Lobster signature butter, which to my knowledge is all of their butters mixed together. I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna turn out, but it looked interesting. So without further ado, let's give this a try. I'm nervous. Cheers. Ladies and gents, my meal is complete, and before I tell y'all about how that seafood boil made me feel, there is something I want everyone to remember.
Back when these restaurants first started, they were built for middle-class America. They weren't fancy and definitely weren't trying to be. They were just affordable spots where you could take your family out to eat without worrying about the bill.
And what's clear is that most of them got destroyed by the same thing. With that being said, it is time for my final thoughts about Red Lobster and whether or not I think this restaurant chain can be saved. Going into this, I thought the food here was gonna be absolutely awful. However, I did leave pleasantly surprised.
It's no doubt that this wasn't the best seafood I've had in my life, but for the price, it wasn't too bad. Everything in that seafood boil had a ton of flavor with that nice Cajun kick. The new ownership seems like they actually care this time around. And bonus points for me not getting sick from cheap seafood. With all of that taken into account, I really do think they've got a real shot at making a comeback.